and welcome to Rock Studios here at Automation Fair in Anaheim. Manufacturing organizations know that unplanned downtime can be costly, but what may be less clear is the impact that attacks in the cybersecurity area, such as ransomware, the impact that those have on downtime. I'm Sydney Salazzo, Director of Global Distributor Partners at Rockwell Automation, and I'm joined by Brian Deacon, our Commercial Manager for Cybersecurity Services, to discuss the impact that attacks have on manufacturing and what actions manufacturers can do to bolster their cybersecurity practices. Brian, thank you for joining me. Why don't you start us off talking about, as we see that cyber attacks are on the rise in manufacturing and industrial operations, what types of attacks are you seeing?
Yeah, Sydney, first of all, great to be here. Automation Fair, Anaheim, California. The weather's beautiful, of course, and
yes.
Really nice crowd here coming through. But the attacks that are on the rise inside of manufacturing environments are great and many. They come from a lot of different sources, but obviously ransomware is one of the things that's most prominent in those environments. But there's insider threats, there's bots battling bots now. There's vulnerabilities associated to an aging infrastructure and aging assets inside of these environments. It just comes from a variety of sources, most notably nation states, threat actors, bad actors from nation states, but also, again, insider threats and disgruntled employees, accidents perhaps, bad access management practices. It can come from a variety of sources as well, but the fact is that there's just a lot of complexity to it because of how vast the landscape is and the environment itself that we're trying to defend.
So one thing that manufacturers can do is try to protect the assets that they have. What can they do about that? How do they protect those assets, and what type of assets should be protected?
Sure, well, you're not going to be able to protect every asset. Certain assets carry certain vulnerabilities. I think it's really a matter of whether or not you've prioritized those assets, and those assets are your crown jewels, meaning those are your most critical, most important assets in an environment, and they're critical to operations, they're critical to business continuity. At the end of the day, what assets do you have to have functioning in order to actually carry out your business continuity plan? So you'd want to take a look at which assets are your most critical, which assets are your crown jewels, and what type of vulnerabilities do those assets carry themselves. And that's probably as far as you're going to be able to get. There simply isn't enough time in the day. There simply isn't a practice out there that allows you to go take care of all vulnerabilities across your entire threat landscape, meaning all of your assets.
So once the manufacturers identify those most critical assets, what are things that they can do to either prevent or entirely reduce those breaches in their control system security?
Yeah, there's nothing that you're ever going to be able to do to prevent everything from happening. Again, I think it comes back to business continuity. What have you identified as what you need to do in order to keep your business continuity running? I heard an example just here at Automation Fair today that you can send data 7 days ahead because you know you can respond and recover within 48 hours.
Wow.
So again, that's a response recovery plan, but it has to do with understanding which assets are most critical, which assets do you need to run, and what do I need to do in order to feed my systems in order to withstand a level of an attack.
So I imagine there's different approaches once you identify those assets that are most critical. One of the things that is a challenge for many manufacturers is gaining that full visibility to all of those assets across the entire technology site as well as the landscape. Because if you don't know what's on your network, you can't even begin to protect it.
Sure.
So what can we do to help customers with this challenge? How do they achieve this?
Yeah, there's several ways to go about it, but identifying your assets absolutely is the most critical step because you can't detect things that you don't know you have or you can't see.
Right.
The first thing that comes to mind to most people and the way most organizations attack this problem is through technology. But it also requires people and process.
Okay.
Simply installing technology isn't going to solve the problem. In fact, it may create a bigger problem because technology in and of itself is an asset. So
Right.
You're therefore creating a larger asset base and a larger threat landscape, which also can be attacked. So if it's not done properly and it's not integrated and optimized at the end of the day through people and processes, it's just technology and it can become shelfware, it could become dangerous, it could become a point of attack as well. But you have to do it through people, processes, and technology, and there's a lot of different technology out there that exists that can certainly assist in this effort.
Is there something that Rockwell Automation has? That how can we help with that?
You know, it's just about the 1-year anniversary of Rockwell Automation making a very important strategic investment and acquisition of a company called Verve.
Verve.
And Verve is a tool that helps do asset identification at the asset itself, at the endpoint. So it's not on the network. It's living inside of the endpoints of the assets themselves. It can help to detect upwards of 300 characteristics about an asset, which also produce more outcomes other than just the asset inventory itself. But from an inventory perspective, it's a super powerful tool to be able to get into the deep, dark corners of OT environments and ICS environments.
That sounds like a great and very powerful platform, but one of the other challenges we often hear from our customers is just about the lack of resources. In fact, depending on what statistic you choose to believe, upwards of 25% of the manufacturing workforce may be retiring in the next 5 years. So how can Rockwell Automation help our customers with this labor challenge?
Yeah, this is not a big news flash, and this just not in, but baby boomers are going to retire. There's not enough skilled workforce as there is. We're trying to upskill electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, process engineers, those people that run factory floor, industrial automation, OT environments, and you're going to have to use the people, processes, and technologies in order to get this done. Most people have turned to outsourcing, just like they have in IT a long time ago. That's been a well-used practice and a well-known practice. But to outsource it, you've got to have trusted advisors, you've got to have trusted partners, you've got to have managed services.
So if somebody is watching that is on the live stream, or if they're here at Automation Fair, where can they go to learn more about what Rockwell Automation has to offer in the cybersecurity services space?
Yeah, it'd be excellent if you're here and you're watching this and you want to head over to the cybersecurity booth. We have a host of our managed services on display over there, including our security operations center that is an OT SOC in and of itself. It takes OT data sources and ingests them into SIM-SOAR technology, utilizing more people and OT processes as well to contextualize those events. But you can check out our website. You can call your local distributor and work with those folks who you might know on a regular basis, your Rockwell Automation sales engineers as well, and they can help get a hold of our cybersecurity sales executive team. And we certainly would like to answer any more questions, learn a little bit more about the journey you're on to identify your assets in your organization and what other challenges you face with cybersecurity.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining me. Very interesting conversation. I appreciate that. And thank you all for tuning in to watch this video coming to you live from Rock Studios at Automation Fair. But don't go away. There is so much more. We're going to be bringing you thought leadership throughout the entire event. So stay tuned and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much. All right.